Hello and welcome, everybody. This is, of course, Rollsborne. And I don't think we're going to beat around the bush very much. We're just going to kind of hop straight into things. And by hopping into things, I mean we are literally going to start with everybody hearing an extremely loud crack and then bang, followed by several relatively muffled, maybe depending on where you are, expletives from the wonderful Cassidy, the engineer of Rusthole. Where are the three of you currently?
What time is it?
Midday. We are talking sun high up in the Arizona sky, burning everybody that it touches.
High noon, you say?
I am sleeping off a hangover. Or I was, until I was woken up.
The room that you wake up in is the sort of it's more private than a bunkhouse, but it is the room that you share with your other two compatriots. And it is sparsely furnished. It is very much just a place for you to be able to rest your head at night.
If that's what you call it, sure.
Hurtful. Rusthole's doing its best.
I think you completely missed my implication.
Anyways, as the room comes into focus a little bit and your eyes make their way to the window, you see a plume of black smoke just billowing up from the center of the town.
Okay, I am gonna. Yeah, it's a very, very kind of quick. Grab the machete, grab the newfound hunting rifle, the gun from under the pillow, body armor going on, jacket, this longish sort of duster coat going on. Still pulling on boots as I go outside to see what the hell is all of this.
Hank.
Hank was probably not in that room, but in another room, just doing maintenance on his rifle, cleaning it, taking it apart, put it back together, and then the big bang. He jumps a bit, but he recognizes that's not a gunshot. That's not like a bomb explosion. So he takes his time putting his rifle back together before heading out to look. So no rush.
You see Ratchet. You're in the same building, essentially.
Probably
in like the more common area.
Room. Yeah.
You see Ratchet just kind of whizzing by you, still getting dressed, as it were.
The energy of youth. It's not going anywhere.
Doesn't respond, just carries on. Hears it, but carries on.
Flint.
Flint is probably at the small saloon, drowning his sorrows at midday, because he's
That's the best time to
a substance abuser of some sort. And so I suppose when he hears the bang, he's probably slow to react because, he's probably got just a few drinks in him. Probably at the point of slightly slurring his words. Probably hops off the
Give me
stool he's sitting on and go ahead.
Give me athletics.
Athletics. All right.
First roll.
Yeah.
First, you told me he's drunk, so you're gonna give me an
Alright.
athletics.
Okay, so just athletics. All right, here we go.
That is an excellent roll. Target number was 4. We have a 17 and a 6, so that means your feet do not find purchase. And I'm not the type to say you're gonna fall flat on your face. How do you fall?
Say I kind of trip. I'm sitting at a stool at the bar, and I kind of I go to put one foot out, and the other foot just kind of catches while I think I'm pulling it, and I think I'm physically pulling it to the floor, but really I'm just hooking it around the stool, and I just kind of fall over on my side.
The bartender goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna cut you off for today.
Sounds good.
Do you need
Any
help?"
idea what's going on out there?
I don't know. And he does make his way around the bar and helps you up and goes, "I'm gonna check on it too."
I'll be right behind you. And I would imagine that Flint would have taken his gun belt off with his 10 millimeter on it and set it up on the bar while he was drinking. So he's gonna strap it on, but it's gonna take him a little bit extra time because his he's not quite as adept with his fingers currently.
Once all three of you make it outside, you notice that the large water pump in the center of town apparently has blown. You can see Cassidy, despite her age, showing her spryness still as she moves through the different pipes and is attempting to shut valves off, repair what she can, but you can already tell that by the way the motors are sounding, this thing is on its last legs, and she's just trying to staunch the bleeding. And the rest of the town, the maybe 12 individuals that it is, are all coming out, gathering, if they weren't already out, attending to what few crops there are, or the one big horner herd that there is as well. Everybody is standing and gawking.
Is there a bit at any part of it where like a valve hasn't been shut off and it's just sort of jetting water out?
Let's see. I'm just going to roll 1d6 and I'll decide my answer off of that. No, luckily. Everything all the damage doesn't seem to be actually like the water pipes. It seems to be the motors and engines that are pumping the water up and probably running the purifier as well.
Right.
So what exactly blew?
The motors. The engine, generator, whatever you want to call it. Basically the thing that allows it to pull water out deep from the underground well.
Right.
I suppose at this point, Flint kind of stumbles out a little bit, tries to assess the situation, sees Hank out of the corner of his eye, and walks over and kind of like asks, "What, something going on with the water pump?"
Well, the water pump itself looks okay.
Yeah. And then it's at this point that you hear Cassidy expletive.
Well, that ain't good.
No. It looks more like one of the generators blew. But, yeah, that's not good for this town.
Imagine not.
So at this point that you would also see the mayor in the mayor of the town, Harlan. I was correct. I started to say the name and then I started to second guess myself. He's taken off his... Most people would just call it a sheriff hat. Those of you that have a little bit more knowledge of certain militaries would probably maybe recognize it as a ranger hat. The very wide brim, he's kind of taking it off, fanning himself, and you can see he's kind of muttering under his breath and leaning over and whispering to a older lady that probably the oldest person in Rusthole, one that you've come to know as the Dr. Myra.
He's 48.
Myra is not 48.
No, I was joking. I was saying that life is so short that the oldest person here is 48.
Yeah.
Flint
Just to be clear for the audience, Myra is not 48. She would look like your elderly grandmother. She is pushing 90 at the very least.
I guess Flint will kind of like, you know, do that move where somebody's kind of puffing their chest out and pulling their pants up a little bit, like they think they're about to go do something, you know, really good, and saunters over to ask if he can assist in looking at the generator.
Roll me speech. Give me a nice speech check. And
Okay, so just straight speech, cool.
Still slurring.
Yep.
yeah, as you say that, Cassidy only stops for maybe 5 seconds, stares at you and goes, "You're drunk. If you touch this, I'll make sure that there's not even enough for the buzzards to have."
Flint raises his hands. He's like, "All right," and he just kind of backs off a little bit.
Yeah, I would like to keep my distance, but have a look at it and see if I can figure out what went wrong.
I guess you could.
I don't want to touch anything.
Roll a repair. Basically, for these type of things, I'm just increasing the number of successes you need.
Okay.
Obviously, if you could get up there, I would lower the number of successes.
Nice.
One success. If you had to guess, the all-important water chip has malfunctioned.
It's unfortunate that Hank doesn't know what happened to said water chip.
Yes, but the water chip has malfunctioned.
Yeah.
After another few moments, Cassidy leaps down once again. Despite her age, looking roughly about in her 60s, surprisingly spry. She lands with almost a cat-like grace and moves over to the other two individuals as they kind of separate themselves from the general riffraff crowd. So Cassidy, Myra, and Harlan are kind of discussing amongst themselves in hushed voices.
Any chance I could get a little bit closer and just hear what they're saying?
Give me stealth.
Oh, it's a good one for me. Here we go. It's not awful, but it's not great.
As you attempt to approach, they see you trying to approach, and each step you take, they essentially take a step further away, giving you the realization that they see you and They don't want you to hear what they're discussing right at this moment. It isn't too long, though, that you take another step, and it's at this point Harlan turns around and goes, "You really want to hear what we're talking about, don't you?"
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and take a guess. That whatever's going on with that thing, you probably need someone to go and find you some parts. And you're going to need to pay for those parts, aren't you?
He pauses, kind of runs his hands through his hair before he places the hat back on his head. You are right and wrong at the same time.
But you're not planning on paying.
Unfortunately, this affects our current payment that we had already issued you. If this doesn't get fixed, room and board is now null and void. We don't have the ability to float you anymore, the three of you. He gestures to the other two, which I'm assuming haven't joined you because they weren't trying to sneak up either.
Yeah.
So we do need people, and it's not that necessarily I don't want to pay you, it's just your current payment's already in danger. Hard for me to be able to, finagle money when I'm not even sure if we're going to be here in the next 3 days.
Now, I can't whistle, but I'm going to say that Flint kind of overhears the 3 days part and whistles.
All right. Let me know when you find it in your heart to change your mind. I'll wander back towards them. The other two, you want my opinion, we're leaving. This place is dead.
Do you have anywhere you suggest we would go to from here?
Hey, I've done all right moving from town to town in the past. You find a way of making it work.
So, for a little bit of game knowledge here, Rusthole is kind of situated. Best way to describe it is the goddamn middle of nowhere. To the northwest, you have Bullhead City, or the ruins of it. It's kept its name even after all these years, mainly because the Legion has taken it over and decided that keeping it called Bullhead City was somewhat appropriate. To the southwest, you have the ruins of an old city, now known as Razors. As for out east, there are numerous places, but the closest one is northeast, known as just Kings now. But that also puts you deeper into Legion territory. Just as game knowledge, you would know the area around here, at least to some extent.
Flint will kind of scratch his chin and think for a sec and then say, let me go have a little chat with Harlan real quick before we make any rash decisions. He kind of saunters over to Harlan.
Harlan has already began to make his way back to the what constitutes for his sheriff station, his mayor abode, as it were.
Okay. I guess I'm just gonna try and catch up with him and get his attention.
He's like, we're gonna walk and talk if you want to talk to me. I've got way too much work now. I've gotta figure out something to do with these people. He starts to mutter to himself. Like his voice starts as if he's talking to you and then slowly drops off as he starts, more talking to himself as he's trying to organize all the stuff that he's gonna need to do.
I'll try and make it quick then. Seems something's broke. You need something to fix it. Is that correct?
At the most basic level, yes. And your friend doesn't seem to be interested in working.
Do you have any idea where we could get said part to replace?
He stops and thinks for a brief moment. His finger starts to tap on his lip. Nearby? No. One of the cities might have something. There's a dam somewhat up north, slightly up north of the major Legion city here. Possibly, and there are scattered military bases in this region, but obviously those might have some automated security still left.
Flint nods and responds, that's a lot of options, and y'all only got 3 days, so without better info, I don't know if we can help you.
3 days is just, you know what they say. You got, 3 weeks without shelter or something like that? It's just an old saying I remember hearing. Supposedly you only have about 3 days without water. Here, it might be a little bit less and he kind of looks up at the sun and, he uses the back of his hand to wipe sweat from his forehead. That thing's been running non-stop since we came here, though, so we do have some backup supplies, so 3 days might be a little bit. We might have more time than that, but I wouldn't want to push it too far either.
Gotcha. Last question then, and I will see what we can do. Any other alternatives that you can think of?
Unless you can find a constant way to bring water here. As complicated as the problem is, the solution is just we need water. And he kind of makes that gesture of like, this is a fact of life here.
Flint nods and stumbles a little bit back towards, because he's still got some alcohol in his system, towards Hank and Ratchet.
What are Hank and Ratchet talking about while Flint is away?
I'm just saying, if you come out strong like that, they need this thing. But at the same time, a little bit of generosity can go further in the long run than just asking for, reward up front. But I get what you're saying.
It's the old expression I keep saying, I keep telling you. You give people an inch, they'll take a mile. And these people, they're disappearing over that horizon. Sure, they need that chip replaced. We don't. We move on. We find somewhere new. Yes, we take it quiet through Legion territory and we're gone.
I mean, it's not a terrible plan. How far is the Bullhead City?
Bullhead City. So give me one moment here, because I can. This is another one of those situations. Is I can use Google Maps to roughly estimate. Roughly about 28 miles.
Yeah. So, yeah, about 30 miles that way. My voice is already gone. How far are you going to get without any water? They have all the water. And now they're going to hoard all their water.
I think there's sort of like a size, not like a massive boulder or anything, large stone, which Ratchet is just going to kick with the amount of aggression. It's like, because he knows that, yeah, that's a really, really valid point. But there's that thing, we will find something on the way. Look, we've made it work on the road before. We can make it work again.
I would say at this point, Flint, you probably have returned to the group.
What do they say, Boy Scout?
He kind of gives Ratchet a little bit of side eye there, but tries not to respond too much physically. He says, "Well, Sheriff says 3 days is probably a little bit of an underestimate, but he can't really for sure tell us where to get this thing that he needs. So, way I see it, Ratchet maybe has a point. We could just go on our way and see what we could find, but if we're going to go somewhere, we could just go there and maybe look and see if we can find what they need. And in the meantime, maybe there's some other things we could find that would help us out, and we could consider that to be some sort of payment. That's the way I see things."
Look towards Hank.
I mean,
You're the deciding vote here.
America was historically a democracy. So, I feel a little outvoted. But at the same time, just let me say, even though I prefer working for money, it still doesn't sit right leaving people high and dry. So, I think there's a bit of merit to that plan of both leaving and seeing what we can find. And maybe still leave with some good graces.
Okay, but don't blame me when they come running up to you. Save us, save us, save us, save us again and again and again.
Well, at that point,
They'll take that mile.
maybe at that point they'll be in a better chance to pay. Better position to pay, what I meant to say.
Whether they do or not, let's find out.
I mean, we don't actually have to make a decision until we find this thing, if we even do. So I don't know that we have to tell them we're just straight leaving. We could say, hey, we're going to do our best. If we don't find it, we don't find it. If we find it, we make the decision then.
I'm guessing this is the kindness of strangers that people are always telling me about. Never thought I would be the stranger, put it that way.
Here's a thought. If we do manage to find what they're needing. It looks to be their water chip went bad. If we do find one of those, there's nothing to say we can't sell it back.
Flint grimaces a little bit at this, but he doesn't say anything.
No, now you're talking my language. I think
I tried and find the best of both worlds. Like I said, on the one hand, leaving a dead town, perfectly valid. But at the same time, leaving them high and dry doesn't sit well.
Well, are we in agreement then?
for now, sure.
Assuming we can even find one.
Well, we could just figure out where we want to look and make a plan to get there, I suppose.
I will in the dirt with the sort of the not with the actual blade, sort of with the sheath still kind of on it. I will draw a very, very rough map of the local area as I know it to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, is there anywhere that I'd know somewhere that they might have something of this, of a replacement water chip or anything that might be able to be botched together?
Pretty much what's your repair skill?
Yeah, I would just say Flint would tell them what the sheriff told him, even though he doesn't necessarily find it useful because the sheriff shared like 5 or 6 different locations with him, just as that information for the rest of the group to know.
So you would know about several military bases in the area, but not exact locations of those. You have the exact location of Razor and Bullhead. And you know of I also mentioned Dave's Dam, correct?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Which is just slightly north of Bullhead.
But that's going into full Legion territory, isn't it?
No, full Legion territory is this side. You'd be heading towards California.
Oh, okay. I thought
Bullhead
Bullhead was.
Bullhead is the frontier Legion city. So it's literally on the edge of their territory.
Right.
That they currently can maintain.
Okay. So my repair skill is my repair skill is 0, so that's a very middle of the road 5 on intelligence.
So I would say you would have roughly the same information. Just your thought process is pretty on point with that. Military bases could have it, but obviously you don't know where any of those are. Dave's Dam might possibly, but definitely the higher of the more likely places is definitely within the cities. However, you would also be aware that while Bullhead is the frontier Legion city, a relatively massive gang of raiders has been making Razor their home. Also, just for those of you that are like, well, where the hell is Razor? Razor is Needles, California.
I figured.
And I know about the Raider gang, right?
Yeah, you know that they're under new management and they are a growing force in the region.
Okay.
So we have a few options.
I would share that. I'll put all these kind of locations on just with the X's on the drawn map. And some question marks in certain areas where there are bases, but like I say, I don't know where they are. Just know that they're out there somewhere.
Would Hank have a better thought of where, even if he doesn't know exactly where, maybe a better idea, they would be more likely in this area or that area?
For military bases? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Ooh, I don't want to give you that information for nothing.
Fair enough. Maybe a rumor?
Or some sort of intelligence
So-
network? Why you have that, I don't know.
Okay, so you're not gonna like well, no, it's not a bad role for you, actually. I'm going to take a little bit of artistic liberty here with the skill and say science, using it kind of as a more overall knowledge base, not just for computers and the like.
Okay. Science.
It's not a terrible role for you.
No, should be fine.
Okay. One success. So, I will go ahead and give you a couple of things. There is Fort Mojave. I'm not going to call it Mojave
Why
because it's not spelled Mojave. Mojave is M-O-J. This is M-O-H-A-V-E.
Mohave.
Yeah, Mojave. Fort
Right,
Mojave,
okay.
which is somewhat situated between, a little bit closer to Bullhead, but between Bullhead and Needles, or Razors. You are also, foreshadowing, I suppose, aware of a secret military base somewhere to the southeast, but you don't have a location there. It was, even during your time, it was classified top secret, strictly need to know.
Wasn't able to get that before boom.
Yeah, pretty much. You weren't quite high enough to be able to get that info.
Right.
And
Alright.
if you want to see it on the map, it is right here.
Right there. Okay. Alright, so we either go all the way up to Bullhead, see if we can barter with the Legion, go down to Razor. Razor? Is that what you said?
Mhm.
See if we can barter with the Raiders without getting shot.
Raiders talk a language. I know.
Well, I mean, shot on sight.
That too.
I'm
But if
fully
you-
aware they're willing to, deal. You just got to get past that first, shot on sight.
I will
Or take our
sort of
chances
indicate
somewhere
the-
in between.
sorry. I will indicate the whether he's over this repurposed NCR Ranger body armor. He's painted the Great Khan's logo, and there's this it's this moment of kind of, I don't know if this counts for anything anymore, but once upon a time people knew what this meant.
Did Hank share with us that he knows about these bases, or is that just something he's keeping to himself at the moment?
He's kind of keeping that to himself. It's
Okay.
more of a. He'll probably drop a hint. There might be something in that area, but he won't
Okay.
say definitively there's a military base here. It's more
Yeah,
of
gotcha.
a strong hint. There might be somewhere if we get lucky in this area.
Right. Yeah. So
'Cause,
that's why I was going to say I would. So Flint would probably be like, "Well, I think I'd rather take my chances with the Raiders."
How's your supply looking?
Bit low, so that'd be a doubly
Raiders
good reason to go there, maybe.
That's honestly a surprise coming from you.
And I'm out of everything. I can't even cook up.
Well, I mean, from Flint's perspective, like, if he's got like lesser of two evils here, right? For him, like Caesar's Legion or
Yeah.
you know, who is he more likely to survive in, you know, meeting with, and it's probably Raiders.
It's likely to mouth off to the wrong person and start an issue.
Yeah.
Or be mouthed off too and start an issue.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah,
Yeah.
being a raider is all about knowing who you can and can't mouth off to. It's
I mean,
yeah, so sort of circling kind of needles, or
Razor.
razor, yeah.
The town formerly known as Needles.
But yeah, kind of circling that on my dust map.
Would we know how
Church.
far that would be for us from where we're currently at?
You know
Razor.
roughly that it is around 20 miles.
Okay. So we could
Little
probably do
shorter.
that in 1 to 2 days.
That's 2 days back.
They'll have to ration if they don't figure something out.
If we
Well,
can
like
find anything.
I said, the sheriff said 3 days probably an underestimate. So if it takes us 2 to get there, give it maybe a day extra and 2 to get back, 5. They may make it that long.
Hank shrugs.
At this point, I would also want to kind of not point out, but it feels weird saying remind because it's not something we've addressed before. From a meta-narrative standpoint, your hunger and thirst levels aren't exactly the greatest either, currently. They've been able to keep you alive here, but it hasn't been luxurious living here either. Just also keep that thought in mind. You're fine on sleep. Your sleep meter's fine, as it were.
Cool. I do have a few supplies for the road of
How much whiskey?
Sorry?
Was it whiskey or bourbon?
Just bourbon. 1 bottle of bourbon. And although I do have 3, I'm going to say, tell me if I get the pronunciation of this wrong, because Ratchet is not familiar with it. Purified water. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I've got a little bit that will kind of see us through, but not massive quantities.
I mean, it's more valuable than the alcohol, to be honest. In the desert, that is. You may not know that. Alcohol will dehydrate you pretty quickly. Start looking like me.
I didn't want to say anything. So yeah, I will. It will be a case of kind of emptying out what I've got, and so yeah, there's the 3 purified water, bottle of bourbon, sorry, I just need to remind myself of what it looks like. Are we comparing notes on what we've got?
I've got a gourd and purified water, so that's all I currently have.
Okay. I have a bottle which he very, very quickly sort of conceals on the inside of his jacket of the. But the 2 of you sort of being there would probably recognise that's buff out.
I mean, I have a Calmex, but that doesn't really help me with staying alive for hunger and needing liquids reasons. So.
It's more this moment of going, oh, that's mine.
I mean, I've got a Calmex, a little bit of food, a little bit of water.
All right. So, destination in mind. Is there any last things you want to do before you head out?
I am going to go and see Cassidy. If anyone wants to join me. But
I will
want to
tag
find out.
along.
Cool. Hank?
While they do that, what are you going to do, Hank?
I'm going to go to Myra and see if she's got any, like, stim packs or something you take.
All right.
Not
Well-
take, but available for purchase or trade.
We'll go ahead and go with Ratchet and Flint, as Cassidy is very much where you left her. She's still scrambling around, trying to get any sort of anything to work, essentially. She's currently find her dragging over a portable generator that she's going to try to, if you had to guess, jerry rig it in to just get the motors going a little bit.
It's as we approach. In that case, I will say it's. You can put your blood, sweat, and tears into it, but it won't help. This, on the other hand, and I will sort of indicate my bottle of bourbon.
Usually drink on the job, she says, as she pulls one more time and then kind of sits down on the top of the generator. You can tell, despite her being pretty athletic and spry for her age, dragging this portable generator has not been the easiest thing. Realistically, I'm saying it's a portable generator, but we all know that even portable generators aren't exactly portable.
So I will sort of perch on the end with her, open the bottle. I will take a healthy swig and pass the bottle over to her.
She takes a small swig and she goes, I get the feeling, though, you're not here just to drink. Looking at the two of you.
You'd be right about that. Razor, what do you know about it?
Same as everybody else. And maybe a little bit more. What exactly are you wanting to know?
The who lives there? Can you give us names? Can you give us anything?
A lot of the names I would be giving you are old timers. And the old timers, well, let's just say they're not in great positions. I got out when I was still young enough to be able to make something of myself. They, unfortunately, are probably no longer alive. You know, rough lifestyle and all that. The Major Who is somewhat of an enigma, actually. I know he came in after I left. Not too long, a few months. Slaughtered the leader. His name was Jacob. Slaughtered him. Stuck his head up on a pike. Claimed dominion over the gang. I don't know, a lot of the information I have might be out of date, unfortunately.
I know, things move fast.
The only thing I know about the current leader, he is somewhat like me in the way that he is somewhat of an engineer. I have heard stories of his custom-made power armor.
Flint's eyes get a little bit big at the mention of the power armor.
Can you tell us?
I'm sorry. I have to make an inside joke. I am fighting for my dear life not to nickname this guy Nightmare. It's an inside joke, I know, but I'm fighting for my dear life here.
It's the Sorry, I forgot. But anything you've got on their angle? What's the thing? Cams, guns, whatever's going.
Imagine taking their big thing is caps. They want to make caps. They want to make money, and they'll do anything to make that money. However, they are also one of the, even back when I was running with them, they were one of the most bloodthirsty crews that I'd ever seen. A lot of times the stuff we did, you didn't need to do it. We did it for the fun. For greater understanding, imagine combining the operators and the disciples from Nuka World. And that's this raider gang.
You think they'll be open to a conversation, or do we go in guns blazing?
If you put money where your mouth is, they'll talk, guaranteed.
Glance up towards Flint.
Flint is it's clear his not his screws, but like the mechanism in his brain is just kind of like working. He's trying to think through potential options. Obviously, still a little alcohol affecting that. So it takes him a couple of seconds to notice the glance from Ratchet, and he says, well, gives us something. Might have a couple ideas, but gonna have to work some things out first. But in the meantime, Cassidy, you have by any chance have a multi-tool or anything useful like that for trade?
Not for trade, all my tools right now, and she kind of gestures towards the water pump. I'm gonna need them to try and get something to start working. Anything that can buy us time, I'm gonna be using, so unfortunately at this time, no, I can't sell anything. Not even a hint of scrap.
Flint nods and says, well, can you tell us about any potential locations between here and Razor where we might be able to take shelter or find some useful items on the way?
You're going through a whole lot of desert, to be quite honest. You might find the occasional abandoned residential place, maybe a Red Rocket gas station here or there. I don't even think there's a super duper mart in between here and there. However, you might think that's doom and gloom, but there's a benefit to that. People don't go trudging out in the desert looking for stuff like that. Generally speaking, people are only trudging through the desert to get from point A to point B, and if they're doing that, they either have the supplies to make it from point A to point B, or they're trying to travel light, so they're only going to take what they need. So, if you hit up some of those places, there's probably a higher likelihood of there actually being something there that you can use.
Flint nods and says, useful advice. Well, that's all I had to ask.
But realistically, what do I know? I haven't been out wandering in a while, so maybe I'm completely off base. But that would be my logic. We're going to switch over to Hank. As you enter into the clinic, is this the first time you've been to the clinic, out of curiosity?
I don't think so. No, I probably have visited maybe once or twice.
So unlike a lot of the other places in Rusthole, I'm still going to describe it just so.
For the audience.
As it were. Rusthole is generally made of small wood houses, except for the clinic. which is made of metal. And as you step inside, you notice that the temperature drops roughly 30, 40 degrees, as this place has a coolant system of some sort. For those of us in the know, it's called an air conditioner.
Hey.
It is exceedingly cool. In the lobby area, it is actually relatively dark, though the rooms that she uses to treat people are well lit, as you would kind of expect. She isn't anywhere to be seen at this moment, but you do hear some chatter in one of the patient rooms, as it were, leaving you somewhat alone. And you do see a locked medicinal box, probably used for emergencies, behind her desk.
Okay. Is it just like a first aid thing, or is it like a
Like attached to the wall,
cabinet,
yeah.
cabinet type thing?
It in the game it's a little white box with the
Okay,
you know.
so first aid kit, yeah.
Yeah. I'm giving you another moral quandary here. I'm seeing what you want to do here.
I know, right? Let's see. Well, I'll glance at it, and then I'll kind of back up a little to the door and see if I can overhear what I can overhear. If they're like deep in conversation, are they reaching the end of whatever they're talking about? He's trying to time.
Does seem like they're talking about treatment options for a patient in the room.
He weighs his options, but ultimately decides we'll leave it as it is, because he would still like to come back if the town is still here in good graces. So for now, he's assuming that there will be a town to come back to. And he likes Myra.
Takes a little bit before she finally appears, and she gives kind of a start before quickly regaining her composure. Yes, what can I do for you? Hank, was it not?
Yes, Hank. I was hoping you had some lotion that'll keep me looking as good as you do when I'm that old.
She gives you the most dry stare that you've ever seen come from anybody. That's not even flattery.
Is it not? He gestures to his own face.
Come on. You're not new here. I know you're over 200. Don't even.
Well,
Even
I
if
could look as
nobody
young as you
else,
do.
even if nobody else here knows you're over 200. She kind of taps her head.
Well, I thought I'd have a little bit of small talk before business.
Business this, business that. What do you need?
Going on a trip. Hoping you've got some Stimpack, something keep us going on the road in case we run into some trouble.
I do. For sale.
Well, yes, that's why I said business.
How many caps you got?
assumed. How many Stimpaks you got?
I'm trying to find it. I'm looking for it. Chems. I guess it's under chems.
Probably, or consumable.
Yes, it is. Regular stim packs are 50. Diluted ones I can give you for 30. And super stim packs are 90.
Mm,
If you want a diffuser, that's 200.
those are all a bit out of my price range. Tell you what, I could trade this Calmex. That's something you're up for?
I could give you 1 stim pack for that, or 2 diluted stim packs.
I feel like 2 diluted would do just fine.
She extends her hand out,
Trade.
takes the Calmex, pulls out unlocks the box behind her desk, takes out 1 stim pack, takes 2 syringes, fills each, puts them in the back end, fills each one up halfway, and then pours water, shakes it up, and then hands you the 2 diluted stim packs.
I think that's a good deal, considering what's, happening.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
The moment, no. Just, your place is probably gonna get busy because you have the best air conditioning ever. So it's gonna get popular, I'm sure.
She kind of nods and says, "We get people coming in here every now and again just to partake. I keep it pretty. I keep that on a tight leash, however."
You should charge for it.
I'm not that mean. I do have a heart.
No, I'm sure you do. I don't think you could do this kind of thing without a heart. I mean, sure, you gotta.
She
numb it
chuckles a
from time
little
to
bit.
time.
She chuckles a little bit to herself. She eventually takes a seat behind her desk, and you can tell by the way she sits down, she's tired.
Yeah. Well, we all have those days. I've got a long walk ahead of me, so you stay cool in here.
Again, the most dead stare she can give you. She is not taking kindly to your humor.
One of these days, Myra, I'm gonna get you to laugh. As I walk out the door. Mark my words. Closed door.
I'll
Not
say
head
you
over
got.
to-
I was gonna say you guys kind of meet halfway in between.
All right. I'm somewhat resupplied. Ish.
What were you able to get?
I got a couple of weak stim packs. They'll do.
Better than nothing.
Exactly.
Better than nothing. Yeah, right.
We were able to get a little information, but not much. Hopefully, Ratchet can do something with it.
I got a name and a reputation.
Think that's enough?
That's enough to start. Sure.
Enough to start, indeed. But usual rules apply. Don't look at anyone in the eyes too long.
Funny about that. Sorry.
And
That's a
be
joke.
careful which names you drop to which people.
Yeah, I know that one all too well.
Okay. I would say. I want to make a survival roll. You determine the best time to leave.
Okay. Go ahead. 1 success. If you're wanting to conserve water, it is best to camp during day, travel during night.
I figured. I just wanted to.
Yeah. Some
Roll
people
for that.
might not know that.
Yeah. And it is still just after midday.
Yeah. Not whole lot of time has passed.
Okay, so quick travel plan. Best to do most of our traveling at night. Keep the shelter in the day. Ration what little water we have. It's gonna get hot. So, best time we leave would be. And he looks at his wrist, but there's no watch on there. Actually, we could probably leave now. Unless you want to take a break.
Probably wouldn't hurt to get a little extra travel in the first day.
And it will be extra travel because, like I said, nighttime is the best time. So, we use the remainder of the day, all night, and then rest in the morning.
I
I
think
can work with that.
We need coats and blankets. It's gonna be cold. I got my jacket. I'm sure it'll be good.
I love how at first you said it's gonna be hot, and then you followed up with it's gonna be cold. I understand that's how deserts work. It gets really cold at night, but still, that is just a funny series of lines.
Yep.
I get it. It still just sounds stupid. And I think on that note, we're gonna go ahead and call the session here. Right before you guys make your wonderful trek out to the Razor. This has been Rollsborne, everybody, with Fallout, Trial of the Old World. We'll see you all next time. Take care.